Etherstones launched 3 days ago, and while they had a really smooth launch, the price has pulled back and it's got some people a little anxious. Etherstones is a DeFi as a service project that's based on the Avalanche network and uses NFTs that pay returns in the ETHS token, as well as a vault where you can stake your ETHS tokens and earn wrapped Ethereum reflections. And the prevailing strategy seems to be minting an NFT and then compounding the rewards from your Etherstone NFT into the vault, where you can continue earning in the form of wrapped ETH reflections. There are high taxes and gamification strategies in place to help incentivize investors to reinvest through compounding and also reduce sell pressure. And the white paper does a really great job of breaking all that down. It's way too detailed to go into in this short video, but if you want to see that, leave a comment below and I'll put out a more detailed video later. So, I mean, naturally people are looking at this chart, right, that have invested into ETHS, that have purchased ETHS, and they're wondering, like, why would there be any red at all on the chart 48 to 72 hours into this project with all these super high taxes in place and everything? And I kind of wanted to talk about that a little bit. Now, I'm not going to try to do technical analysis on, a like 72-hour old project using some made up signal. And I would also encourage you just to mute people who are offering technical analysis this early in a project. I just wanted to offer a few different perspectives that maybe you could look at when you're looking at Etherstones and you're trying to decide what to do right now. Now, Etherstones set out to build a project more sustainable than others in the same category by tweaking the tokenomics a little bit based on failures that they observed in projects like Ring, Louverture, and Univ. So I'm going to pull up a few different charts, but first I just wanted you to think about like what it is that you expected out of the price action for Etherstones in the first like 6 days of the project's life. I mean, you must have had something in mind when when you transferred that money over, when you decided to buy ETHS. Was it like, remember, we're only in day 3 now. So like, did you expect the token price of ETHS to go to, $20 right away with no red on the chart at all? Or maybe this is the very first node project that you've ever invested in. And I'm not asking to condescend to you. I mean, I'm asking because you're watching this video right now because you have emotion tied to your trade. So grounding yourself in logic might actually be helpful. I mean, like every other project in crypto, Etherstones could just crash and burn right after I post this video, and there wouldn't be anything that you could do about it. So here's the ETHS chart, and this is kind of what you're hearing some complaining about, maybe on Discord and Twitter. And so, look, that's not new. Anytime someone puts money into something and they see that value decrease, then it causes anxiety, right? I mean, people just want to make money. You can't blame them for that. I think it's important to look at patterns and everything over time, especially when we're looking at really small cap stuff like what we're all investing in the DeFi space. So here's the hourly chart for Etherstones, and I just wanted to compare Etherstone's launch to maybe some other projects. And I'm going to look at the hourly charts across a few different projects and just kind of talk through, or just really just show kind of what the price action looked like. So maybe you can use that to frame your perspective on how the Etherstone's launch is going at this point. And again, I mean, nobody knows. Like, I don't know anything. Like I said a second ago, it could just completely crash and burn as soon as I post this video. There's nothing we can do about it. I mean, that's just crypto. But let's start by looking at their chart, right? So hourly chart, you can see when it launched, huge pump, kind of like what we usually see. And then you got a little bit of volatility up at the top, and then it starts to drop. And to put this into perspective a little bit, let's just do kind of a measurement and look. So from all-time highs to where it is right now, it is I don't know, like a 50% retracement from all-time highs. Okay, so just keep that number in mind, 50% from all-time highs. And like, with all the high taxes and everything, what would possibly cause someone to sell or to maybe even like liquidate their entire position that early in a project? Well, you have to remember that there was a pre-sale, right? So a lot of people got in before the public sale at prices way lower. So let's say you get in at 80 cents in this case, you've already made a significant gain. Probably not enough. If I were trading that, I probably wouldn't liquidate for like a 3x gain on a brand new project like this if I was whitelisted and got a pre-sale price. But whatever. I mean, some people are going to do that. After taxes, maybe they were able to pull out a like 100% ROI. So you got to consider that as well. You've got some of the pre-sale activity and sellers that are going ahead and taking their profit. And then there's also some different tokenomics that are in play the first 6 days of this project. So you've got reflections that just kicked in after the 48-hour mark, and then you've got this tapering taxation mechanism that started at 20% and is slowly decreasing over the next 6 days down to 10%, which is what you'll see in the white paper when you read it. And that is also going to impact when people decide to sell and take profits and so on. So keep those couple of things in mind. Let's take a look at a couple of other charts. So let's just go to Titano now. And let's look at the hourly chart when Titano launched. So check this out. You got the pump, a little bit of red right here, and then it just takes off. And again, this is from November 17th. Here's November 18th. And then you've got this pullback right here along November 18th. And then on the third day, really actually still in the 18th and on the third day, it just kind of takes off. And it does pull back later. But let's just look at like the first few days, just like, to compare where we are with Etherstones. So I'll do the same kind of thing. I'll go ahead and measure. Let's just call it like the all-time high during the launch being right around here. What kind of retracement was that? That was about a 45% retracement. And so we just looked at Etherstones a second ago. Again, I'm just doing this for comparative purposes. None of this actually, necessarily means anything. I mean, all these projects are unique. Their communities were different at the time of the launch and everything else. But we're just looking at a couple of different factors, again, for a different perspective. Okay, so that was Titano. Titano has gone on to do, really, really well. And the chart, ended up going way up past that. So let's look at another one. Let's look at Thor. Okay, so Thor, if I look at this is 6th of December last year, and then here's 7 December, and around on the second day, it really took off, right? So from this all-time high, let's go ahead and look at the pullback that Thor saw. So down to the low right here, 71% retracement from the launch, from the all-time high during that first like 48 hours. So massive pump, massive pullback, and then it took off, right? Okay, let's look at another one. Let's look at Comb. So with Comb, a little bit different look here, right? But Comb launched back here, but then actually I don't know what was happening here. Maybe this was a stealth launch. I honestly don't remember with Comb. But in any case, here's kind of the pump, the launch pump, and then let's see. We'll call this kind of the bottom. Let's see what that retracement looked like. If I wanted to go here down to there, 75% retracement. And this is, I don't know how you want to count this, but 18 December, the actual kind of pump happened like 19 December. And then this is 21 December right here in this area. So again, like the 2 or 3 day time frame. Let's look at red light node district. Let's look at Playmates. Okay, so Playmates, similar thing. I actually participated in this launch, and it was a really cool launch event. They had like over 3,000 people in their Discord, and had a live launch party when they launched the token, and it was very cool. It's the first one that I've really ever participated in that closely, and so I bought in during the launch. got like, totally slipped on price, got, not a great entry point. And then, so I'm watching this giant green candle form. And then I get up here and I'm like, man, this is awesome. How far is this thing going to go? And then the retracement happens, right? And that hits you, kind of at the emotional level when you have, when you have hard-earned money on the line. But again, like, what was my expectation going into that trade? Did I over leverage, overextend myself? Did I put too much money in? And I, generally try not to do that, right? If I'm going to be worried and be a mess over it, then I know that I'm talking about numbers that are really too big, and I should scale it back. So, what happened with these guys? Well, let's look at all-time highs again. Let's do the same thing and see what their retracement looked like from launch. And I would consider red light node district with some of the funky taxation and tokenomics and stuff that they had going on, and that they still have going on. I expected the Etherstones launch to be very similar to the red light node district launch. That was my own personal expectation. So we'll see how it plays out. But look, like, that's about a 60% retracement. So like, look at the territory that we're in right now, just in the examples that I'm showing. And if you go and look at the white papers and the taxation and everything across these different projects, you'll be able to pull out some parallels and some things that are in common between all of them. But just consider the patterns, right? Now let's look at strong. Okay, and I really like this one. I think it's different because of the utility, but still, I just wanted to throw it up because people tend to compare strong to a lot of things in this particular space. So look at strong when it launched. So it launched on 9 February, and look at this retracement over the first 6 days. I don't know what this is. Let's measure it. It is 40% or approximately 40% retracement over the first 6 days. But then look what happened. Like, it went lower. It went way down to here, and it went to like 56% or so. To where it finally kind of bottomed out. So, and then if I kind of go over in time, then it just takes off, right? So it hit the all-time lows like around 28 February. So it was like 20 days after the initial launch. So a lot of things are at play during that time. There's marketing, there's adoption that needs to happen. So it's a critical time for a project, no doubt. But I just wanted to share these couple of different charts just to put things into perspective. Being 72 hours into the launch of Etherstones, maybe this gives you something else to consider. Maybe you come up with a new strategy based on what you're seeing here, or you go and do more research. And when you go out and do more research, I hope you will check out Jeremy's video on Etherstones on his YouTube channel called Expedition DeFi. Really great analysis and a breakdown of the Etherstones project. So check it out and leave him a comment and subscribe to his channel. And also, I think it's really helpful to do a comparative analysis between other projects in like the same category, like in DeFi, for example, node projects, comparing them with one another, comparing daily ROI projects, and using that to kind of help formulate a strategy. If you do that as well as part of your workflow, I'd like to know about it, and I'd like to kind of know how you do that, how you use comparisons. What are you comparing? Really curious about that. So if you could leave that in the comment, that'd be great. And then if you like what I'm doing here, if you like these types of videos, then please go ahead and give me a like and subscribe. But if not, then go ahead and leave me a thumbs down and never come back again. Either way, I hope this was helpful to some of you, and hope to see you again in the future. Thanks.